Yo, what's up guys? Bajheera here. For this video, I've got a fun one, man. I've got a full-on Pit 100 viable Diablo 4 Season 8 HotA Quake Barbarian build update for you guys. So I'm very proud to have cleared Pit 100 on this bad boy, and we really still actually have a ton of power left to gain. Our gear is pretty solid, but there are a few particular things that would really take this thing into the stratosphere, but definitely excited to share with you guys where we're at right now in case you guys want to give this build a try, which I do recommend because it is, I think, definitely one of the top 2 Barbarian builds right now. I think the Summoner Barbarian is a little bit higher in terms of like what it's been pushing pit-wise right now, but hey man, if we really min-max HotA, who knows? Maybe it's better. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, this build is based around essentially using some kind of rune combo with the tech rune to proc earthquakes, which you then are able to hit with this line that comes out of your Hammer of the Ancients thanks to Mantle of Mountains Fury to detonate your earthquakes. We're also using, at this point, a rune combo to just sort of automatically activate Warcry for us. So we are doing damage by having very high Wrath of the Berserker uptime, very high buffed Warcry uptime, and detonating massive earthquakes for huge hits of damage on bosses, which is a lot of fun. So what skills we are using is we are using Challenging Shout to give us some damage reduction, a little bit of extra life. We are using Rallying Cry to make us unstoppable, granting us Fortify and resource generation increases. We're using Wrath of the Berserker to give us Berserking, which stacks up a lot, also makes us unstoppable, and is giving us a ton of extra damage while Wrath of the Berserker is active on our weapons, which is huge damage increases, which is awesome. We're using Ground Stomp to reduce the cooldown of Wrath of the Berserker and generate a ton of extra fury for us, and proc the damaging a CC'd target makes them immune to CC, which makes us do more damage to immune to CC targets and gives us attack speed, movement speed, damage, all that kind of stuff. I'll go through all of those mechanics. I'm just kind of trying to give you guys like a overview of how the build works and what we're doing. So we're using Bash as our basic skill, which 4 crit bashes with a two-handed weapon, two-handed mace, is going to give us a guaranteed overpower on our next Hammer of the Ancients. And Hammer of the Ancients overpowers are going to increase all of our damage by 40% for 5 seconds. So that's going to be kind of the rotation, is popping cooldowns after we bash and get a guaranteed crit 4 times in a row. We have 100% crit chance, so it's guaranteed. And then we're going to overpower, boom, all of our damage is going to be increased for the next 5 seconds, including all that earthquake detonation damage, which is pretty sweet too. So those are the skills we're using. In terms of our actual gear, we're using the Ugly Bastard Helmet, which gives us big Wrath of the Berserker cooldown, a little bit of damage while berserking, damage reduction while berserking, a little bit of rage generation, fury generation while berserking, and Wrath of the Berserker causes us to explode, which is cool. But the main thing is, while berserking, our direct damage dealt is converted into fire, and that fire damage is doubled. So that's a really insane helmet for us. Big Wrath of the Berserker CD, and big fire damage buffs, along with some other cool stuff. This is the sort of build enabler. Mantle of Mountains Fury, you need this. Hammer of the Ancients forms a seismic line that deals its damage and slows enemies hit by a duration, or by percent for a duration. The main thing is earthquakes that the line passes through explode for their total damage and are consumed. So even if the earthquake has been down for a couple seconds and then you hit it, it's going to deal the entire damage that it has already like done, right? So pretty wild. It also has a really nice chance for earthquakes. They deal double damage, and defensive stance, which is just going to be you know, further damage reduction. The actual armor and Hammer of the Ancients doesn't really matter that much. We're always going to have enough armor pretty much, and HotA damage doesn't actually matter. These are important though. Fist of Fate, it's giving us attack speed, some crit chance, a ton of lucky hit, and what you want is a big chance to make enemies vulnerable. This is pretty much responsible for how we're making enemies vulnerable in this build. Lots of lucky hit, and all unlucky hit, it makes them vuln. So that's pretty sweet. You can also have it so your attacks randomly deal a bazillion% more damage. They can also potentially make your hits deal less damage, I think, but it's okay. I've heard both. People have said it both works as just, it only adds damage, and some people have said it reduces your damage too, potentially. It reads to me like it would reduce your damage, but still, if it reduces your damage sometimes, I mean, whatever. Those like spine-shattering 300% increased damage HotA explosion quakes are pretty awesome, so it's worth. We're using Tybalt's Will at the moment. It gives us all stats, max life, max resource, doesn't really matter. But damage reduction while unstoppable is great because we are frequently unstoppable, thanks to Rallying Cry and Wrath of the Berserker making us unstoppable. It is also giving us some damage buffs while unstoppable and after unstoppable, which is sweet. And we gain 50% of our primary resource. Miss Beans wants to check in too. She's like, hey, you doing a video? Let me come check in. Come here. Quit stepping on my controller. she's trying to troll. We're also slotting strength into our armor. Keep that in mind with the rubies. Now, initially you can use like some kind of boots that give you resist and movement speed uniques, but eventually later on in the build, it would be great to get some of these, where you get like G8 strength and G8 Warcry with resists. Need a little bit of resist on those boots because that's where only place it's going to come from. But also Warcry is huge. That's going to give you 1.5% more damage per rank of Warcry, so that's massive. You'll slap movement speed on those with Earthquake Size. We're using right now after casting 5 basic skills, one of your active cooldowns is reduced by a little bit. We're casting a lot of basic skills, especially on a boss, so those are pretty nice to have. The two-hander, we are getting strength GA would be insane. We have crit damage GA, and we want, so regardless of the GA, we want strength, max life, crit damage, and then for me, I'm putting Wrath of the Berserker on here, and I put Heavy Hitter on here. There is definitely some reason to think that Heavy Hitter may not be worth it at all compared to duration. Whenever I put duration on, it feels like I do more damage. This weapon is just so beautiful that I don't want to mess with it at all. But Heavy Hitter should increase your earthquake damage, and it does, but for some reason duration seems to increase it more than it mathematically looks like it should compared to Heavy Hitter. So take that with a grain of salt if you want to. I think there's definitely a chance, and I'll test it. I'll continue to test it to see if duration is just better than Heavy Hitter in general, but right now I have Heavy Hitter on there. You definitely want Earthquakes, where Ground Stomp is going to buff your damage, and it just increases your Earthquake damage in general, which is super nice. This is where we have our tech to give us Earthquakes. Come here, Lily. Hey, Jenny, will you come retrieve this Miss Bean? What? Get on out of here, Miss Bean. She wants to step on my keyboard and try to close my Diablo while I'm trying to record a video. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. She's one of our OG kitties. She's a good girl, but I'm on to you, Miss Bean. I'm on to you. Retrieve this sack of beans. So this is where we're getting our Earthquakes from. Tech is the rune that gives you Earthquakes. It's a blue rune. Everybody should be able to find one of these. Early on, you can use Mani Tech, which is use 2 movement skills, which is Lunging Strike is a movement skill to activate Earthquakes. Eventually, you can do cool things like Igni Tech, wherever you HotA, it will basically spawn an Earthquake underneath it and always detonate it, which is cool. I like Lith, where when I stand still, it just spawns Earthquakes constantly, and then you just hammer, and that feels pretty good to me. So that's what I do there. We are imprinting again Wrath of Berserker Heavy Hitter. One of the things about this build that you need to do is you need to solve for enough damage while berserking and enough close damage. So keep that in mind as we continue looking at our tempers here. So for this, for the one-handers, I have, again, strength, life, crit damage. We have them tempered for earthquake duration, and we have one of our damage while berserking rolls on the one-hander. We have imprinted on there is a vehement brawler to give us more damage after activating our ult and 2 ranks of our ult. And we're ulting very frequently, so this is very helpful for us. The cooldown reduction from the ranks of the ult and the increased damage for 8 seconds after ulting is great, because we're having Wrath of Berserker up a lot. So here's where we have close damage. Again, the weapons are strength, life, crit damage. We also have earthquake duration on both of these, along with some close damage and executioners. Executioners is another one of those things that gives you earthquakes and also buffs your earthquakes by a lot. The most important part of this weapon is the fact that it just gives you earthquake damage increase by 5% for every 100 strength you have of 200%. Doesn't need to be on a two-hander, it can be on a one-hander because it doesn't really scale. But this means that there are a couple breakpoints that you need. You're going to need, again, enough damage while berserking to benefit from the Blood Rage glyph. You're going to need enough damage while close to upgrade, not the glyph, but the rune page. You're going to need enough damage to close to get the full Force of Nature upgrade for earthquakes. And then you need 4,000 strength, which I only have barely 4,000, but we really should have a lot more of this, but we'll have to fix that for a couple gear upgrades. I'll talk about that in a second, but you need 4,000 strength, enough damage while berserking, and enough close damage, and I'll kind of keep talking about that. But we are solving our close damage with a glyph, with the territorial glyph, and we are solving our damage while berserking with the, I believe it's Ire, glyph, and then damage while berserking here, and on a ring right here, I guess. And then we have this one which allows us to do more strength, life, crit damage on the weapon, with chance for earthquakes to cast twice on this weapon is really nice. Chance for earthquakes to cast twice is another way to scale that damage up. There's a part of me that thinks that you don't even necessarily need that, but it is really nice to have. This weapon, don't get too caught up on it. We've been making a lot of weapon swaps recently, and there have been some things that we've learned that have caused me to run a recraft and shift things around. So this weapon currently has damage while Warcry is active. That's not what you want. I want damage with Wrath of the Berserker, and we're going to be able to craft that. We just need to farm a little bit more Obdusite and roll it up, but we got that. But yeah, damage while Wrath of Berserker is active, and chance for earthquakes to cast twice is good here. And that's basically all you need. You only need like one weapon that kind of gives you the chance for earthquakes to cast twice. And then duration, maybe even duration here, but with heavy hitter would be fine too. You could do something kind of weird where you have like a weapon that gives you chance for earthquakes to cast twice, but so you get like 100% chance to cast them twice. But I think it's just better to have the duration for the heavy hit, and then earthquakes casting twice there. And then in this rune slot we have the Ohm effect. If you don't have an Ohm yet, then you could do something else. You could do like a vulnerable one with Thul. You could do a pull with the Spiritborn thing. You could use the Spiritborn, or sorry, the Druid Barrier as well if you need tankiness. But right now Warcry is your best bet, and I'm using Igni with that so that it will store up stacks, and then when I use an ability, it will activate, and Warcry goes off about every 6-7 seconds, which is the uptime that Warcry has. So we should have 100% Warcry uptime. On rings. So here's the interesting thing about rings. We'll look at this one first, because this one's kind of like the mandatory one, except for the thing, the affix, the aspect. So strength, life. This one I need one ring with crit chance on it, which gives us the 100% crit chance that we need. We have Wrath of the Berserker cooldown on it, along with damage while berserking to solve that issue, and we have the conceited aspect on there. If you don't mind standing still, you can use Inner Calm to get a little bit more damage. It's kind of annoying to always have to stand still for 3 seconds to proc it. And then we have Shadow Resistance in here, actually, because we're going to solve our resist in kind of an interesting way. We have so one of the rings needs to have Bold Chieftains. Ideally, I think the Bold Chieftains ring has the damage while berserking on it. My rings don't have that right now. It just is what it is. But Wrath of the Berserker CD, damage while Wrath of the Berserker is active with Bold Chieftains is great. This ring is not perfect. It has attack speed, which is okay. I'd rather have the strength GA. But you'll notice both of these rings are lightning resist, and we have this one socketed with poison resist. And then we have the neck. The neck is a very particular piece that you need, and I don't have it. So now Samson's gonna tag into control. We have the strength percent GA, kind of, you really want that. This is gonna be an exceptionally expensive item to get. You want GA'd strength, and you want GA'd heavy-handed. That may cost you like 3 gold caps to get. So good luck. Good luck getting that. That's just how it goes. But you have strength GA, counter offensive is very nice to have. That's another like a couple like 12% increased damage while you're fortified, which is great. And then heavy-handed is huge. It's actually going to multiply your crit damage percentage, which is massive damage increase. So you want that, but you need the strength GA on there too. I don't have it. It just is what it is. I still have 4,000 strength, but we're gonna want strength GAs everywhere we don't have it, which is like, we don't have strength GA here, we don't have strength GA here, we don't have strength GA here. So there's a lot of room to gain more strength to get up closer to like 5,000 strength would be excellent. But we have this one socketed in with a Sapphire. Wrath of the Berserker roll could be better. Earthquake size could be better. But that's what we got right now. Sam, get these cats, man, I swear. I swear. But that's what you want on there, and that works out pretty good. To take a quick look at our Paragon situation. Oh yeah, we're also using, before I forget, we're using Axe Expertise for more damage, and for my mercenaries. Resistances are pretty much solved when I'm solo, because we have Ray here buffing us up with the 15%, but we're just kind of just going down the left side here to get some damage and resists from Ray here. And we are using Variana for her just damage and little attack speed buff right here. She does a little bit of damage there, which is whatever. But yeah, she gives us a little bit of attack speed buff, which is nice to have, so that's that. That's the gear situation. If we look quickly at our skill tree, I need to like blast through this. But this will also be on Mobalytics, by the way. We are going through here, going for Bash, going for HotA, going for Warpath for damage after we overpower. We're getting ground stomp with the strategic ground stomp. Reduces the cooldown on Wrath of the Berserker. We're grabbing belligerence for a little bit more damage when we auto attack. We're getting more life, less damage from elites. We're getting the fortify, strategic rallying cry. We're getting just a teeny little bit of thorns, just so we have the effective thorns, and we get a bleed to scale our damage against bleeding targets. And damage reduction from bleeding targets. We have challenging shot with only 2 ranks in it. We only need the life and the damage reduction. We're putting a ton of ranks into Warcry, buffed up by our boots, and we're getting the fortify on Warcry as well. We're getting 3 points in booming voice for shouts lasting longer. We're getting a lot of ranks in these things. I think I could actually take 2 points out, but we'll keep those there for now. For damage reduction while berserking and rage generation while berserking. I need 1 point in crit just to fix my crit personally, but that's okay. We're doing Pit Fighter, 3 ranks of Slaying Strike to take less damage from close, deal more damage to close, and deal more damage to injured and healthy enemies. Coming down here for a little bit extra Fortify gains, which we maybe could even take out and do damage reduction while fortified. Might even be better. Just put 1 point in there, because we should get enough Fortify anyway, but this is also barrier generation, so that's something that's kind of interesting to consider. Counter offensive, we want 3 points in there, and then we're going to get more from our amulet for Fortify, giving us damage. We are putting full points in heavy hitter, getting more points from our weapon to deal more damage with earthquakes. We are putting ranks in heavy-handed, full ranks in heavy-handed, and then getting some more from our amulet for percent scaling on our. You take whatever your crit damage percentage is, and then multiply it. Like, that's crazy. You're getting another 1.5 multiplier on your crit strike damage, which is nuts. We are taking Wallop. I was a little bit not sure if skills counted as Earthquake, but after testing it and hearing from people who know, it does indeed buff your damage against vulnerable targets, so you want Wallop. Full ranks in Wrath of the Berserker, getting 2 from our Vehement Brawler. And then we are doing Unconstrained for increasing our damage while berserking. And then we also get some good damage reduction if we're low health at any point, and berserk at any point. So we're gonna that damage reduction will kick in if for some reason we lose our berserk. But I do think that something like this could be actually kind of fun. But that's only core skills. This is the only thing that actually gives us some damage buff now I look at it, because that's the only thing that's going to buff earthquakes. So keep that in mind. Our Paragon, very, very quickly, again, to look at, to know that Mobalytics has all this stuff. We are going for Revenge here for just big damage scaling. Whenever we stack up our Thorns damage, it's going to increase that a ton against things that are hitting us. And it also gives us all the bonuses, the damage to elite, strength, and damage. We are going into the Blood Rage tree. This is where we need to have damage while berserking to maximum 45%. We are socketing in Rumble. This one has the most strength you can possibly get in the tree. So we're putting Rumble there to give it the maximum earthquake bonus. Here we are playing Force of Nature. This is where the damage to close comes in. We are getting all the way to 200% off that. We're also using Martial here so that our shouts that we're using, all 3 of them, even though we're only activating 2 manually, are going to reduce the cooldown of Ground Stomp and Wrath of the Berserker. Of course, Ground Stomp reduces the cooldown of Wrath of the Berserker, so there's some big synergy there. And we're getting a little bit of our damage to close enemies here by buffing these blue nodes right there. And then we're getting Raw Might there as well. Super nice. Then we are going into, we already talked about Rumble, we are going into the Decimator tree, where every time you make an enemy vulnerable, which is a lot, you're going to get a damage buff, and then when you overpower a vulnerable enemy, you're going to get another damage buff, which is insane. We're putting Ire here for getting a big chunk of our damage while berserking that's required to make our build work, and then we are going over here and grabbing Territorial to get another big chunk of our damage to close enemies to make our build work, and it also gives you a damage reduction, which is super nice. And then, of course, we have that in the Weapons Master tree, which is sweet. And then just to briefly go over our resists, we are using those particular strong gems to get resists because we have so much fire resistance from our helm that we can then solve our resists with heavy investment in the gems, and then getting 2 rings that give us lightning resistance, and then taking the lightning resistance on the tree in particular, which is somewhere along with some of these max res nodes. And that is going to help us solve our resistances. And then, of course, right here, and then a flask. It gives us a ton of resist as well. In terms of boss powers, we're using Torusk's Rage as our main one. We're getting a ton of crit plus a flask to get us all the way to 100% crit with Hatred's Embrace's Haste. We're still using this to give us barrier. Eventually, if we're tanky enough, somehow we could take this off and do more damage, probably with the one that gives us more damage against vulnerable targets, which is kind of cool, but the barrier is so comfy. And then Incinerat's Flames, which increases our fire damage. All of our damage is fire. It's a massive damage increase. But this is why we're using the exploiter glyph, because damaging a crowd controlled enemy makes them unstoppable, and then you are going to deal 20% increased damage, 20% increased attack speed, 20% movement speed for a little while. And remember, we are also dealing to unstoppable enemies 68% increased damage, so it's just a massive damage multiplier. The only problem is you won't be able to group enemies as cleanly in rifts, but in pits, but you'll dunk on them with damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the 100 pit run after the discussion that we've just done. And then I guess in terms of what I'm talking about in terms of incense, I'm using a crit potion with strength, life, and resist all incense. And that gets us everything we need. I think I'm going to waste these showing them to you. But then after you look at our stats, at that point, we have, with right here, we're only 0.6 off of 74% res, but we have 72% resist throughout the tree. We have 100% critical strike chance. We have 4K plus strength. So that's what our stats are looking like. And we're looking pretty good. But those are the little things you have to solve on the build. We're going to continue to scale these up. The big ways that I could improve our build are a G8 strength, G8 heavy hitter. We could get you know, a G8 strength on the ring. We could eventually use a Starless Skies if we want to. We would lose Wrath of the Berserker CD, and we would lose damage while Wrath of Berserker is active, because we would still need the damage while berserking, and we would move the Bold Chieftains to this ring. But, you know, I'm not even sure it's that worth it right now, but eventually with the Wrath of Berserker CD being good enough on Ground Stomp, even though you lose the damage while Wrath of the Berserker is active, maybe the attack speed, lucky hit, crit chance, especially if you got like a triple GA, rolled up the attack speed, triple masterworked Starless Skies, maybe that would eventually be better. But right now, you can run this build with no mythics. It can clear Pit 100, and it's a lot of fun. Anyway, I gotta run. I will see you guys later today on stream. We'll get this video up for you guys along with an updated Mobalytics page, and you guys can get in there and tear it up on the HotA Quake and have a blast. Either way, thank you guys so much for the support on the Diablo content. If you guys like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave me a nice little comment coming out with me on stream. We'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace. We go again, boys. We go again. I think we definitely have what it takes. I'm starting to really believe. I don't know what my next class will be. I don't know. I kind of just like to play Barbarian. Maybe we'll play some PoE or something. Maybe it'll be a Titan, a PoE Titan. All right, let's start it off here and see how it goes. This seems like some good grouping. That last one, we were cutting through the mobs in the first area pretty smoothly there. Like what I was seeing. Yeah, Blood Bishop is an okay boss for that for sure. Just he started summoning the fire AoE Elias, and if he spawns, like, I mean, I guess I could just move away from him a little bit, because if he spawns on you and you don't notice, then he does just, like, you know, shotguns you. I wasn't being all that careful, I guess. That will definitely lay you low. Those things hit so hard. It is crazy. Fire Elias, man. Okay, let's get these little guys down. It is interesting, even if we're not completing the rift for like the extra XP at the end, we still get XP for doing it. So we're slowly getting stronger in our steps to success, not our failures, our steps to success. Definitely not a bad run, that last one, though. Definitely not bad. How are we looking? This guy looks pretty strong. How are we looking? They're ending Season 8 early? Wait, are they? Yeah, I saw Season 9 was already on PTR. What's up with that? Tell me more about that. When is Season 9 coming? Are we about to just be like Diablo main gamers? Like, what is going on here? I mean, has Diablo been like popping off and they want to kind of keep the momentum going, or like what's up? Tell me more about that. I don't hate the idea. Season 8's been fun, but yeah, I mean, if they have content ready and they want to just like fire it up again, I mean, sure. Season 9 is gonna be a banger. Hey, that's fine with me. Shoot. If they just wanna, if they got another league coming that they think is sick, yeah. Let it rip. How short are we talking? Are we about to just be a Diablo stream here for a little while? I mean, shoot. Kind of been popping off, haven't we? I'm down. Lethal Shrine really, unfortunately, doesn't do anything for me, so I'm not really in a hurry to go over there and grab that one, but whatever. Maybe the cube coming back? Yeah. I feel like I've heard that, right? I've heard some whispers of that, like perhaps being the case. Making good time here, that's good. Where to next?
Quite the challenge, eh?
Yeah, we good, brother. Oh, I need to get this guy out of here ASAP. Oh, vile blood. Stack it up on this guy now, I guess, huh? Right, nice thing about it is our taunt counts as a CC, so that's good. Keep that vehement berserker stacked up. Hello? Any mobs? I see one little pack over there. Get that vehement brawler up frequently. Do kind of want to press it on CD. You know, we could be using like the stand still and stand still and conceded, but I'm kind of down for vehement brawler. I just gotta remember to use it more frequently. There's a shrine down there. I think I have to go down there anyway. There's some mobs to kill up here though. They might pass down to the shrine with me if I dragged them down there. They might. Making a relatively good time though. That's awesome about Season 9 actually. I mean, Season 8 ending sooner rather than later I think is fine. I mean, I feel like a lot of people probably just blast through a season. And like at the 2-week mark or so, 3-week mark, people are mostly like, all right, cool, I've done everything I want to do. I don't know, maybe not, but that sounds exciting to me. Diablo has been a lot of fun and it's been going good on stream, so if they want to bring out more new content, you know, that keeps the hype going, that's awesome. Can you press HotA? What's going on here? What is this? This pack might not be that juicy. There's one of these guys there. I think they should hit it though, because I don't know. Oh geez, this guy's still alive. Okay, there we go. They should, if they have momentum and people are enjoying it and they got content ready, they should hit it. Keep it going, man. Especially with like you know, PoE being like a bit in a work in progress. Like they gotta get it, man. They gotta get it. 4 weeks? Oh yeah, I don't think they're gonna make a new league every 4 weeks by any means, but like this one, who knows? No, it wouldn't be that soon, surely. Like it's entering PTR. I mean, how long is our patches in PTR? It is kind of crazy though, because they also have like a bunch of WoW content coming too. Like Blizzard's just hammering right now, man. Just pumping. I want both of these rooms to come in here. Might be a little bit too much fiddling right now though. We will still need another couple groups, even if I kill these guys. We're doing it, we're doing it. Getting some crunchers. Make sure I hit that ground something before these guys all die. There we go. Big. Now, I'm not going to say we can take our time with the boss necessarily, but We are looking pretty good here. Looking pretty good. Pop the ult first, and that. There we go. And we'll have another vehement activation here. Great. Getting to the boss with 7 minutes. That's the most ever. Oh, but then we have the tankiest boss ever. Oh no. All right. Well, let's see what thing she summons in. Lilith. Okay. That could actually really suck. Doesn't this boss have like twice the HP of any other boss? What the heck, man? I mean, we're chunking her in the stun. That's good. We're chunking her in the stun. If Lilith ends up being not too scary, that's good. Are we lagging now too? We are. Oh my gosh. It's the agents. The agents are coming for me. He's become too powerful. Take him out. HotA Barbarians weren't supposed to do Pit 100. They're only supposed to be the summoners. Take him out. Pull him back. Gotta break through. We've got to break through. Try to make sure those ground stomp earthquakes get blasted too. I don't think I want to stand in that puddle. I'm not 100% sure what it does, but I don't think I want to stand in it. Big dunkers. Big chunkers. Whatever that was, we just kind of tanked it. Good. I like face tanking mechanics. As long as she doesn't start summoning Elias. Sorry, because this is an Elias move right here, is it not? Got to get ourselves situated here. She has so much health. Why is it spawning my earthquakes behind me? Okay. How did that hit me? Stop doing that. Yeah, so it's gonna have big Mama Lilith dunks coming our way too later.
Who can stand against you? With me at your side.
That's right here. Let's do this, bro. You and me, dog. Trying to get out of that this time. You and me, brother. Yeah, standing still with spawn earthquakes is cool, but standing still to like even just do damage is, I don't know. Okay, this Lilith attack is not as lethal. It's the big one where she goes up in the air and like does like a vortex. That one's not nice. Let's get out of that. I think it's okay that we did that. Using both of my thingies there. Still using my shots this way. I'm gonna see how it goes. This one's more important. There are a lot of mechanics on the ground right now, but gotta just do it anyway. It said dungeon complete the pit. Are you kidding me? It said we got it. Are you actually kidding me? Legit, the Matrix is trying to stop me from ascending. How did it do it right on time like that? That's funny. We did get it. That is hilarious. Dude, they're literally on to me. The good news is we did it. Did you guys see the completion? I got the XP and everything. They're literally on to me. We're breaking through the barrier of what a HotA Quake Barbarian is supposed to be able to achieve. We finally break the barrier of the Matrix and they pull the plug. That's pretty funny. We got it done though. That's Pit 100. Solo. HotA Quake Barb. With how much time left on it? Probably looked like a little bit of time left. Looked like a little bit of time left. That is really funny though. GG. We got it done. We got it done. We don't get the loot or whatever, but who cares? 3 minutes at least? Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe we could do even higher. 101. But 100's good for now. We gotta just get back to farming. GG. GG.